Project.
Even after we part ways, I can't stop thinking about Elise. I'm glad I was able to make amends with her. It's also nice that she seemed to have genuinely enjoyed watching the sorcerer matches. However, I could still feel that she was somehow distant. The way she talked to Franz and Aretha is different from the way that she talked to me. The way she smiled to them is not the same as the way she smiled to me. There's a certain closeness between them that just doesn't exist between us. That's unavoidable, considering how I botched her first impression of me. But still, I feel jealous. I want to be close to her. I want to be an important someone for her. I want her to need me. I want to be able to make her smile. I want to make her happy. I sit back in a chair, tilting my head backwards. I gaze through the ceiling, the roof, the sky, and the stars, and whatever lies beyond, right into a void as empty and as dark as my heart. So empty, yet so full. So dark, yet so bright. For Elise is there. She is now forever in my mind. When my consciousness returns to the room, my eyes light on the piano. The piano. Right at this instant, it seems to shine brighter even than the magical light that illuminates the room. The piano with which Elise performed the sonata so mesmerizing that it blinded my spirit and silenced my mind. The piano from which her music came to life. The music that symbolizes her various dream. That's right. Music is the one thing beyond all others that can give Elise happiness. To one day be a musician is her dream. I wish I could do something to help her achieve that dream. I wish to do something for her. For Elise. She said she loved the piece that accompanied my match. Symphony in C minor. Odora di spirito adolescente. She wanted to rearrange it for the piano so that she could play it herself. Odora di spirito adolescente is a fairly well-known piece. I'm sure Father has the score somewhere in the music room. I get up and go into the music room to look for the score. My father is a fan of string instruments, so in the music room you can find some violins, some violas, a cello, and a contrabass. I haven't been in here since I was a child. Without any idea where I'm supposed to be looking, I start with a bookcase next to the contrabass. On the shelves, there are well over 1,000 sheets of music. I imagine how exhausting this is going to be. Frankly, I would give up if I didn't remember I was doing this for Elise. After going through 20 or 30 sheets, I realized that they are sorted by composer. So I try to find where music from the composer of Odora di Spirito Adolescente is located in the bookcase. I look and look, but I'm unable to find it. I've gone through the whole bookcase, but I still can't find any scores from the right composer. So I move on to the next bookcase. It houses a similar number of sheets. I look and look again, but the scores of the composer's music are still nowhere to be found. As I walk to the next bookcase, I glance at my chronometer. It's almost midnight. Normally I'd have gone to sleep, but now I want to do this for Elise. At last, I find a score of a symphony written by the same composer as Odora di Spirito Adolescente. So the score I'm looking for should be somewhere in here. Unfortunately for me, this composer is quite prolific, and his music occupies a whole shelf in the bookcase. With a sigh, I start from the left, reading the pieces off one by one. I can't give up now because I want to do something, anything for Elise. At last I reach the end of the shelf, but I have still not come across the correct piece. should be here together with the scores of other musical pieces from the same composer. But it's not. Does my father not have the score for this piece? That isn't possible. But where is it then? I scanned the room. Let's see. My father and the butlers are too meticulous to have sorted these scores badly. Ah! My father's work desk! On the desk are a few sheets of paper, but none of them are the score. Then, noticing a drawer on the desk, I open it. And there's the score, inside the drawer. It's been hiding here all along. Reading Symphony in C minor, Adora di Spirito Adolescente on a piece of paper has never been this gratifying. But now, a problem. What am I going to do with the score? There is only one copy of it here. Since the score is in the drawer of my father's desk, I expect he's doing something with it. That means I can't just give it to Elise. I have no other choice but to copy the score by hand. I take it to my room. I have to quickly make a copy of it, because I have to put the score back inside the drawer before my father starts work tomorrow morning. The chronometer shows that it is a little after midnight. Sleepiness overcomes me, as it always does on a night after a sorcerer match. With a pen in one hand, the score and empty sheets of paper on my desk, and my listless body wearily perched on a chair, I set out to copy the score. All 24 pages full of obscure musical symbols. Let's see. That note goes here, that one goes here, and... Is that on the third or the fourth line? Oh, the fourth. Wait, this note isn't colored in. This one has a flag on its stem. I feel drowsy. Ugh, maybe I should get one of our servants to do this for me. But no, I can't do that. They might make a mistake. This is my responsibility. Half an hour later, I'm done with the first page. Ugh, that was too slow. With that kind of pace, I won't be able to finish before morning. I have to try doing this faster. I grab a new sheet of paper and proceed to the next page, forcing myself to stay awake and struggling to keep my hand from shaking. Halfway done. I thought of checking the chronometer, but decided there was no point. I'll just keep going. I'm tired, but I've decided to do this for Elise because I want to see her smile. If she will only smile, it will have been worth doing this. It will have been worth a sleepless night. When the notes on the score start to get blurry, I slap myself to stay awake. As time wears on, I have to slap myself more and more often. Finally, it's done. I check the whole thing again to make sure I haven't made any mistakes, and then I carefully set the copy aside on my desk and quickly return the original score to its drawer in the music room. Back in my room, I collapse onto my bed, drowned in exhaustion, but satisfied that I was able to make this gift of music that Elise wanted. With this, I can help Elise achieve her dream. At the very least, she will be happy, because she can play the music she loves on the piano. I wonder what kind of smile she'll make when I give this to her. The thought puts a smile on my own face. I'm happy to have done something for her. For Elise. I slip into a deep sleep as the first light of morning slips into my room. I am woken up by the sound of knocking on my door, followed by the voice of a maid behind the door.
My lord, lunch has been served.
With a groan, I force myself to get up and drag myself downstairs. Father has gone out somewhere, so I sit by myself at the dining table. Some dishes are already prepared. Suddenly aware that I had missed breakfast this morning, I devour a thin slice of marinated raw salmon, barely tasting it. Despite having slept through the morning, my eyelids still feel heavy as lead. Well, at least I managed to copy that score for Elise. I take a bite of veal loin roast, but before I can judge its taste, I remember that I have to give the copy of the score to Elise before she leaves the conservatoire for home. Hastily, I finish my meal, shower, and leave the house.
Why, if it isn't young Lord Godwin, what brings you to my humble laboratory?
I've come to the laboratory after arriving at the conservatoire in a taxi carriage, but for some reason Elise isn't here. Neither is Franz. Instead, I see the professor who had visited my father last week. Yesterday, I used Sorcerer as an excuse to look for Franz and Elise, but in my haste, I hadn't thought of any reason why I might come here today. I'm looking for Franz.
Oh, I didn't know the two of you would become so close. It's too bad, but Franz left this morning.
Where did he go?
The factory. He hadn't been seeing any progress with his assistant's magic, so he thought she should try reproducing the effect in the original setting.
He took Elise back to the slums? I see. The factory. Thank you very much, Professor.
You're welcome, young lord.
At first, the taxi carriage driver refused to take me all the way to the factory, but he's finally convinced when I offer to double the fare. Now, where's Elise? Franz had mentioned that he had seen Elise try to fix the piano in some yard behind the factory, so they might be in the same yard right now. Now, where might that be? I scan my surroundings, but there isn't any place that resembles a yard. Instead, I see a worker near the factory entrance. I call out to her. Hey, you!
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm looking for a yard.
Yard? Which one?
I don't know. I was told there was a backyard to this factory, one with a piano in it.
Oh, the piano. Yeah, sure. Just follow that path, and you'll find it.
Her direction leads me to a narrow grassy path sandwiched between the concrete fence surrounding the factory complex and the outer wall of a factory building. After walking several hundred feet, an open area is visible at the end of the path. As I draw closer to the opening, I can feel a concentration of compassion magic emanating from it. The compassion magic paints my vision with vast whiteness. And then, I hear it. A piano sound. As soon as my vision returns half a second later, I rush to where the sound comes from.
Frederic?
Huh? Frederic? What are you doing here?
Elise is facing the piano, her downturned hand suspended a few inches above the keyboard. Franz is standing next to her. They blink at my unannounced presence. The piano... was it fixed?
Not at all.
Elise presses some keys, but no sound comes out.
But your magic certainly feels different here than in the lab. If we could get enough data for analysis, we might be able to figure out a way to make it work.
Then let's continue, Franz.
Sure.
The piano is still broken. So, why did I hear a piano sound? Wait, did I really hear it? No, there couldn't have been a sound. It was just my imagination. I thought I had heard something, but now I know I didn't really hear anything. What a very strange feeling. But I'm not here to think about the piano. Elise?
Yes?
Here. I hand the copy of the score to Elise.
What is this?
It's the score of Odora de Spirito Adolescente.
Oh, yesterday's sorcerer music, right?
She flips through the page with a blank look on her face. Yes. Didn't you say that you wanted to play it on the piano?
Yeah, I think playing this piece on the piano would be fun. Is this for me?
Yes, of course. I made it for you.
Well, thank you, Frederic.
She clutches the score to her chest with a weak smile. The same kind of smile one gives to strangers at one's father's birthday party.
Elise, shall we continue?
Yeah, let's continue.
Facing the piano again, with both palms open in front of the piano, Elise lets her mana flow through her straightened arms to her hands.
Amplify.
Franz tries pressing some keys. Hearing no sounds, he shakes his head slowly.
Still broken. As expected. Let's try it again.
Okay.
Wait. What about the score I gave her? Isn't she going to say anything about that? Elise? Elise turns to me with the same emotionless expression.
Yeah?
Ignoring Franz, who is staring irately at me from the corner of his eyes, I say to Elise, after you've rearranged the piece for piano, you can play it at my house anytime you want.
Okay.
Actually, Elise would rather play it on this piano, so she has to work on fixing it now.
What's with this guy? I'm talking to Elise, damn it! He's getting on my nerves. I don't see you making any progress with your research. When will she be able to play that piano, I wonder? Franz is visibly annoyed.
We would find an answer to that question much faster if we could work on it without any distraction.
Distraction? I was just trying to do something for Elise. I wasn't trying to get in the way of her work. But it's true that she isn't too happy with me being here. I thought she'd be overjoyed after receiving the score, but she isn't. I feel foolish. Why did I come here? My fists are shaking. Ha! I just came to give her a way out of your stupid experiment so she won't have to deal with that piece of trash piano that anyone with half a brain knows will never make a sound again! For a moment, there's only silence. I can see surprise on both Franz and Elise's faces. Elise scowls and looks away. What am I doing? I'm upsetting Elise. Elise, who I worked so hard to please. Then, Franz explodes in anger.
What? Didn't you convince Lord Godwin to fund my research because you wanted to support it?
Right. I am supposed to act as if I wanted to support his research. But he is really making my blood boil. I can't even talk to Elise without him interrupting everything. God, fuck it! Oh, whatever. To hell with this peasant and his research project! Support your research? Why would I? Who gives a damn about this project? A compassion magic machine? Ha! The very idea is laughable.
You?
Besides, what are you even doing? From what I've seen, Elise has been doing all the work. Tell me, if she is somehow able to get the piano working again, why should the conservatoire graduate you instead of her? Seriously, they'd have to give her a degree and declare her a mage, not this simpleton whose only job is watch her.
Franz doesn't only watch
Hey,
me.
this is a highly rigorous scientific experiment. I have to do calculations, analyze the data. This is my theory to formulate. Magical science is not just about casting magic spells.
Oh yes, I'm sure you'll have quite a difficult job coming up with a theory about how compassion magic continues to work in the same way it always has.
Guys, please calm down.
Oh, and you're one to judge me. What about you? You, with all the money in the world, choose to waste your life playing games.
Games? What games?
Your sorcerer matches. What sort of person spends their time smashing crystals? When is the last time you did anything that actually contributes to the society?
What?
The only reason people put up with you is because you're the son of Lord Godwin.
You're one to talk. The only reason people put up with you is because you're a student of a famous professor from the conservatoire. We glare at each other with fury in our eyes.
Please stop fighting. Let's talk about this calmly, okay?
You think Sorcerer is just a game? Why don't I show you my magic? You think you're so great because you get A's in your magical science classes, right? Well then, you must be pretty powerful. Show me what you got. Come on! Stop bickering and fight me like real men! Despite his wild, glowering face and shaking shoulders, Franz doesn't say anything. What? Are you scared? Ha! When push comes to shove, you don't have the balls to do anything. You're all talk. You academics are all the same.
Stop this! Stop! Why do you have to fight over this? I don't know anything about magical science or anything about research. I don't know anything about sorcerer either. But what's wrong with wanting to do what we enjoy? I love to play the piano. I don't know if my music will ever contribute anything to society or help anyone. But I want to play the piano anyway because I love it.
Elise's lips are quivering. She sits at the piano. She slumps forward and rests her cheek on the piano. It seems the mute piano gives her more comfort than anything the two of us could say. Without saying anything, I turn away and walk back along the narrow path. Outside the factory, the sun is already setting. Some workers are leaving the factory as others are going in, ready to work the night shift, although no excitement shows on their faces. And now I realize I have a problem. I don't know how to go back to the city. I should have had the taxi carriage wait for me here. I could try asking one of the workers to show me the way, but I don't feel like talking to anyone right now. I walk in the opposite direction from most of the workers. Their homes are probably even farther away from the city. I don't know where I'm going, but I keep walking. It's already sundown, but even during the day, this area must be dark because the street is narrow and the buildings are blocking the sunlight. My steps are heavy. The combination of lack of sleep, frustration, and disappointment has drained me. Elise. I came to the factory today to give Elise the score because I thought it would make her happy. Because I thought I'd be able to see her smile. Yet it did no such thing. Somehow, I managed to upset her again. Why should she care? Having the score doesn't mean anything to her because she doesn't have a piano to play the piece. She obviously wouldn't want to play the piano at my place given what happened last time. What a fool. She still hasn't forgiven me. Even if she said she did, those are just words. In her heart, she doesn't feel forgiveness. And after what happened just now, she must hate me even more. How could this happen? Not only was I not able to see Elise smile, I managed to upset her again. How pathetic. No wonder Elise hates me. She should hate me. I guess I'll never see her again. I should stop bothering her. I should stop making her feel uncomfortable. I should disappear from her life. That would be the best gift I could give her. That is the closest thing to happiness that I could offer her. If I'm being honest with myself, that is the only way I could manage to make Elise happy. And I want Elise to be happy. What was it that made me think I could do anything for Elise anyway? What a silly thought. All the money in the world, the best education money can buy, and it takes me this long to see something so obvious. Elise is doing just fine without me. She doesn't need anything from a man whose only skill is smashing crystal balls to orchestral accompaniment. She doesn't need me. Of course she doesn't need me.
Dude, are you alright?
I stop when I notice a man staring at my face. His clothes look as if a pig had been wearing it while rolling in mud. He reeks of dog shit. He's taller than me, but he looks half-starved.
You were walking like a zombie, man. Are you ill?
Get away from me, you filthy beggar.
Hey, no need to be hostile. I was just worried about you, man.
Whatever. Fuck off.
Are you picking a fight? Do you think you can get away with that kind of attitude just because you're a bourgeois?
No. I can get away with it because I am me.
Not so fast, young man. I think I need to teach you some respect.
The other proles around us are watching in anxiety. Some of them walk quickly away. What, are you going to hit me or something? Go ahead. Try.
Hey, don't push me, kid. I'll do it.
Do it. I'm telling you to. Go ahead.
Your call, buddy.
The man pulls his fist back and swings it at my head. However, before it gets close, I unleash the mana that I have silently amassed in my hands. Amplify. In his unbalanced position, the man is quickly pulled down by an amplified gravity force, hitting the dirt hard.
Ow!
The man grunts while lying on his stomach. Even after gravity is back to normal, he is still down on the ground. What was he thinking trying to fight without magic? I step over his body and continue walking. All the other proles move away from me. Some of them go inside their houses. But there are two familiar men who keep standing without moving an inch even as I draw near them.
It's you again. This time you're really looking for trouble.
Get lost. I'm not in the mood.
Neither am I.
The Libertan then speaks to his friend.
Oi, let's do something about this arrogant little prick.
Yeah. Let's.
The other Libertan backs away. The first one brings his hand forward. Something big and round is materializing in front of his open palm. A boulder bigger than his upper body appears in the air, and then he controls the air around the boulder to fly it fast towards me. But this kind of attack is nothing for an experienced sorcerer like me. I raise my left arm. Summon! And a thick wall shoots up from the ground, shielding me from my opponent's incoming ball of rock. The two masses of rock collide with each other. The impact scatters shards of rock across the streets. Before they fall to the ground, my right hand is already straightened out towards my opponent, scorching and burning with courage. Summon! From my hand, a fire bursts forth, its flickering flames connecting my hand and the Libertan's body. The fire completely consumes the man, obscuring his features. But even though he is burning, I can feel faith building up from him. A gust of wind blows across his body. It rakes the fire off his body like a tattered garment.
Damn it!
Still panting, the Libertan member puts his left hand forward, again focusing on willpower, but this time with greater amount of mana. Another boulder, much bigger than the last, materializes in front of his hand. With his other hand, he is readying faith. Hasn't he learned his lesson? But I'm not going for the same tactic. Instead, I dash towards the gigantic rock before him, with courage blazing within my hands. When I'm perhaps a body length from him, I open my two arms as wide as the boulder. Summon. And then I widen my arms even more, stretching my hands apart as far as they'll go. Amplify. The big rock explodes right in front of the Libertan, sending him flying backwards through the air. The explosion isn't deadly, but unless his partner can cast Revive, the man is down for the count. Even though I directed the explosion away from me, I too took a little of the impact from the sheer force of the burst of energy. The man lands on his back, nearly 20 feet from where he stood. He doesn't try to cushion his fall. He's out cold. I look at the other Libertan. Now, will you stay the hell away from me? Or must I do the same to you? He just stays silent while looking at me unblinking. I'm tired of dealing with this Libertan nonsense. I'm going to finish this quickly. Summon! Without giving him time to prepare himself, I summon a heap of rocks high in the air that rain down on the Libertan member. He avoids the rocks by jumping sideways to his left, but I follow his movement with my hand. A new clump of rocks appear in the air according to my hand's new position and continue to rain down fiercely on him. He keeps dodging, but he is nearing a wall, so he will have nowhere to go. All of a sudden, I feel the aura of his faith.
Summon.
He casts wind that blows on my rocks, sending them flying back at me. I quickly try to erect a rock wall to shield me, but but his wind is too fierce. Before I can cast any spell, the speeding rocks have plowed into me like a stampede of wild horses. I fly backwards through the air, my body shaking with pain. I try to roll myself sideways in midair to lessen the impact of hitting the street. But there is no impact.
Amplify!
Still in the air, I'm suddenly caught in a tornado that sends me hurtling upward. My body keeps tumbling higher and higher. I'm being jerked around violently and can't tell which way I'm pointed. Just when I slow down before reaching peak altitude, I feel scorching heat from below.
Summon!
Fire whirls up through the swirling wind and engulfs me. I can feel myself starting to cook. I concentrate a barrier around my body to minimize the damage, but it won't last long in a fire this powerful. Thankfully, the fire is soon extinguished, because...
Summon!
A gale hammers me from straight above. I plummet to the ground like a meteorite, my body leaving a smoke trail from the extinguished fire. This is cheating. This is illegal. You're not allowed to attack your opponent if he hasn't recovered from your previous attack to a ready stance. This guy doesn't know how to fight. The last thing I remember before everything goes black is the street coming up to catch me. Fast.
You're finished.
Ugh.
Why don't you try casting your spell on me?
But Revive is a spell for healing a life-threatening injury. Maybe I can stab you first.
No! We did get some data. I may be able to learn something from it.
Will I be able to revive the piano after you've done your best to study the data?
I don't know. Hopefully you will.
My lord, is Frederic not here?
I was told he went to the conservatoire yesterday. Did you see him there?
We were at the factory conducting research. He came to observe us.
I see.
Let's go! Project!